So in chapter 8, we talked about the structure of reasoning. We went over Tolman's model and discussed how we will apply it within our outlines. Fortunately, most of the information from chapter 8 was not new to us. Moving on to chapter 9, we will discuss the types of reasoning. We will specifically discuss what is reasoning and the degree of cogency. To start, reasoning is the process of inferring conclusions from premises. In other words, it is a logical, sensible way of thinking about things. We make sense of the world around us through reasoning. In argumentation, we use evidence to support our ideas. These logical connections come in different degrees. The degree of cogency, for instance, is the extent to which an argument is both sound and intellectually compelling. In other words, cogent arguments are synonymous with strong arguments. The strength of an argument is clearly related to your evidence and the connections made with your claim. Additionally, the cogency of an argument is also based on the context and prior beliefs of the audience or judge as well. Now, when we are talking about the strength or cogency of an argument, there are different layers, if you will. Your text outlines each of these on a continuum. I will, however, be using a pyramid to demonstrate the significant differences between each. Now, I'm sure many of you have heard these terms and possibly have used them interchangeably. These terms include possible, plausible, probable, and certainty. Now, possible would fall at the very bottom of our pyramid, and we're going to work from bottom to top. So, possible is at the very bottom of our pyramid. Possible is associated with a low degree of likelihood that a proposition is true. In other words, the arguments that we are making have the potential to be true. However, there is no guarantee. Because of this is the weakest of the arguments. You might hear people say, this can be true or this can happen. These arguments demonstrate a possibility. However, they are weak because there is no logical evidence to support such claims. Moving on, second, we have plausibility. Plausibility is associated with a lesser degree of likelihood that a proposition is true. However, it is a step up from possibility. Within plausibility, we are now using logic and reasoning. This could include inductive or deductive reasoning. Regardless, a connection between arguments and supporting evidence are being made here. Now, everything that is plausible is possible, but not everything that is possible is plausible. Moving on, third, we have probability. Probability is a higher degree of likelihood, but not certainty, that a conclusion is true. In other words, the arguments are most likely to be true. You are now using statistical reasoning and sound evidence that supports your ideas. Additionally, you are able to now look at the opposing perspective and outweigh it with refutable evidence. This is why it is important to plan refutations for your debate. Now, everything that is probable is plausible and possible. However, not everything that is possible and plausible is probable. You see how we're working? Yeah, you see what we're doing there? Finally, we have certainty. So certainty is associated with absolute truth. Of course, certainty is ideal, and this is something that we want. However, it is very difficult. It's not possible to, it might not even be possible to achieve, especially dependent on the type of proposition. Propositions of value, for instance, are guaranteed to fall within the probable realm. My question to you is, does absolute certainty exist? Does absolute truth exist? And if so, how? How can you demonstrate that to your audience? So second, can absolute certainty be demonstrated in your arguments and perceived unquestionably similarly to all of your audience members? This would be very difficult to achieve, but it is possible. See what I did there? See, that was a weak argument that okay. But it is possible. And remember, using possible, like it is a weak argument because I'm not using any type of evidence to really support this notion here. So it's important to understand the difference between these four, not only in this class, but in our everyday lives when it comes to debates and argumentation. Now, the difference between the four, knowing the difference between the four will allow you to identify weak arguments that contain a low degree of truth. In addition, identifying strong arguments will also help you obtain a higher degree of truth and understanding of the world around you. In this video, we talked about reasoning, the degree of cogency, and the different layers, if you will, associated with it. If you have any questions about the chapter, please do not hesitate to email me. I will see you all in the next one.